Good evening, everyone. We at Sefer Yehoshua, Kapitel Dalet, at Pasuk Yud Dalet, really. Vayemo Gidal means we started speaking about the Gedulas Yehoshua. As we mentioned already, that the psukim over here are not Pesidron. And we also see, and we had once a debate about it, spoke about it with the Baruch, if there is in Nach Ein Mugdum Rucha B'Torah. We do say Nach Ein Mugdum Rucha B'Torah. And definitely in Sefer Yehoshua we do say Ein Mugdum Rucha. Also in Nach, because we see the Seder Advarim, the Ma'avar HaKoyach, the way they were crossing the Yarden. We see in the Pasuk, if we just go over very, very quickly, Pasuk Yud Aleph Vayika Shotam Kolom La'aver, when everyone else, they went out of the Yarden. Vayavu Aaron Hashem v'Kohanim Lifnei Ha'am. So according to Rashi, the way it worked is that everyone went to the west bank of the Yarden. They went back out to and the water is continuing to flow, and that's the pasuk we see. Pasuk Tezvav, the Zion is continuing to flow. The Oren is noiser, it carries the Kohanim. Everyone was carrying basically it's carrying the carriers, and that was the Oren of Uzzah. What he carries, he thinks, and the one that we Ma'ale in Bris Hashem, before they went into Beis Eder Magiti, and he sees that when Bris Hashem is going to fall down, but he's giving it a small push, and he dies on the spot. Why? Because Aaron is noises. Aaron is noises. That's what we learn in Pasuk. Vayikash otam kol ha'om la'avor vayaver Aaron Hashem v'Kohanim lifnei ha'om in front of the people. And that's being merabe kolom. What's the kolom? Kolom is merabe, also Pnei Reuven and Pnei God, and also Yehoshua and the 12 people that they also were helping and carrying the avonim, the 12 avonim, what we saw before. Vayavu Bnei Reuven uBnei God v'chatzi shevet haMenashe chamushim lifnei Bnei Yisrael kasher diber aleim Moshe ka'arboim elef chalutz ha'atzova ovu lifnei Hashem lamilchamo el arvois Yericho. It says over here in the Pasuk, as he brings down a very interesting going. The Pasuk says that Kohanim knows the Aaron, right? Vayamaru or Vayavu. What's Vayamaru? The God says in Shir HaShirim, the God says something very interesting. It says like this. And in Shir HaShirim, Pasuk Aleph, Perek Aleph, Pasuk Dalet. It says, Moshcheni acharecha nerutza, hevi'ani amelech hador. Explains the God. Moshcheni acharecha nerutza. What means Moshcheni? Moshcheni is when the Klal Yisrael go out in the Midbar. She'olchu b'midbar be'eretz lo yizruach. That's Moshcheni. Acharecha is acharecha nerutza, hu ha'eis asher holchu bayarden. Where do we see it that this is the Moshcheni acharecha nerutza? The Pasuk vayemar ha'om vaya'aviru. Look at the psukim over here. The psukim again and again and again repeating vaya'aviru, and that's the acharecha nerutza after Kodesh Baruch Hu, and that's vayemar ha'om vaya'aviru. Evi'ani Hadorov, that is Moyer be also Eretz Yisrael, and that's Hadorov. What's Hadorov? Hador Torah, because that's the Iker. Iker is Torah in Eretz Yisrael, and as we know, Malko, Vesorel, Bagoyim, and Torah. The Iker Torah is in Eretz Yisrael. That's the pshat in the psukim over here. We look at the psukim and Pasuk Yud Gimel. Ka'arboim elef chalutz ha'atzova ovu lifnei Hashem lamilchamo el arvois Yericho. So ovu lifnei who? Lifnei Hashem. Lifnei Hashem. It doesn't say Lifnei Yisrael. Lifnei Hashem. When Moshe Rabbeinu, we look at Moshe Rabbeinu, who's talking about over here? We're talking about over here, Pnei God of Pnei Reuven. Pnei God of Pnei Reuven, they see the Eichel Yarden, and this is good for them. They have a lot of sheep. They want to stay in Ever. They don't want to cross into Eretz Yisrael. Moshe Rabbeinu doesn't try. And all the conditions, all the Dina Tanoim we learn out from Pnei God of Pnei Reuven. It has to be Hein Kodem Lav, Pnei God of the Mindset. Right? All of the Dina Tanoim we learn from Pnei God of Pnei Reuven. But Moshe Rabbeinu tells them, Moshe Rabbeinu says, Pnei God of Pnei Reuven, Techoltzu Lifnei Hashem Lamilchama. Even though we should say, and the Pasuk Yud Gimel, if you look at the Pasuk, it should say, Ka'arboim elef chalutz ha'atzova, ovu lifnei Yisrael lamilchamo el arvois Yericho. They joining Klal Yisrael. Who they joining? Pnei God of Pnei Reuven. They joining Klal Yisrael to fight the war. So why it says Lifnei Hashem? But the same thing we find also in Bnei God of Pnei Reuven when Moshe Rabbeinu does that tonight. The Zohar HaKodesh explains that Moshe Rabbeinu, he saw that Bnei God of Pnei Reuven, they want to go into cross with Klal Yisrael, and because they want, they should give them the land, not any other tachlis. They're going to help Klal Yisrael to fight the war against Malchi Canaan for one purpose. What's the purpose? They also want. Now, this is not right. It's not the right thing to do because they need Klal Yisrael needs someone to help them with the war. So they should have right. They should have the war. It's also it has over there. The war is also to fight the war because it's commanded. Right? Like the Chai Kol Neshomo, we go to the Neshama, like the Chai Kol Neshomo, the Sikrav Al Milchomo, the Choymas Mitzvah, it's a mitzvah, it's not stuff. So we call the Milchemes Kibush of what we call Milchemes Kibush of Zayin Amomin, is a Milchemes Mitzvah. Right? It's not Stam Milchomo, it's a Milchemes Mitzvah. And that's why he says, that Karaboy Halut Yitzhava Ovu Lifnei Hashem La Milchomo. The purpose is not only Lifnei Yisrael, of the Lifnei Yisrael is just for Klal Yisrael, oh, we want our piece of land, we don't have a choice. We have to help you to conquer your piece of land. So we're helping you because in our mind is only because we want to know. There's a milchemes kibush, a milchemes mitzvah, zayin amomim, and that's what he says over here. Lifnei Hashem la milchama, because he has in mind also the Lifnei Hashem la milchama. If you look at Rashi later on in Kapitel Chav Beis, say Yehoshua, Pasuk Ches. So there he says, right, Yehoshua, in the end of his life, he says, "Vayomer aleim leimor." Osim Rabim Shoivu Shuvu Elo Aleichem Vikne Rab Loi Bechesed Yisov. Pasuk Ches. Rashi says Imachechem. Says Rashi, Bnei Reuven u'Bnei Gad Yesh pointin Imachechem shenisharu nishmor es orim im anosh v'atav v'lo yoru es hayadem im hachalutzim gam hein not lo chelek b'biza. You see in Rashi here. What do you see in Rashi? Not everyone went out to war. Half of them, right? Half of them stayed to look after the so it's 80, it's really 80,000, not 40,000. Half of them stayed behind. And this we could go, what we mentioned by David Amelech, the Noise Kalim, and half go out to Milchama, and half actually keep the Kalim. They are guarding the vessels, everything, and they are getting in the booty and the biza and the shalom, and whatever it is, they get half and half. And that we learn out from there is big halachas we learn out from there. Big halachas. So half stay there, guard the vessels, the kalim, and it's more than Rashi. Also for Shevet Menashe, not everyone went through. Only the Giboy Rechail. Only the Giboy Rechail, right? As we saw in beforehand, right? We saw in the Shevet Apechem, yeah, it's like Giboy Rechail. So you look at the Kapitel Aleph, Pasuk Yudalet, right? We learned only the Giboy Rechail. So if we have only the Giboy Rechail for Shevet Menashe, and half of the Shevet Gad and Shevet Reuven, so 40,000 makes sense, this number. Let's go back to the Rachaim. Rachaim brings the Rachaim brings the Rambam. Brings the Rambam in Hilchos Velachim, Perek Zayin, Halachot Tzvot. Says the Rambam that every milchama, in every war, and afilu milchemes harashus, it's not milchemes mitzvah, even a milchemes harashus, there has to be a kavanah, lekadef es Hashem bilvad, ve'oz muftach loi. When a person has his intention is lekadef Hashem, אז מובטח לו שלא ימצאו נזק ולא יהיו לכל רע, on that line. That also in the Milchemes Mitzvah, showing Milchemes Mitzvah, was also, that's why Moshe Rabbeinu says according to this, what we see in Yeshua, Lifnei Hashem. You're going out to war, not Lifnei Yisrael, you're going out to war Lifnei Hashem. The kavanah should be Lekadesh Shem Shomayim. The same thing, Yeshua, when he comes and speaks about Klal Yisrael, Karaboy Melech Halutz Atzava Ovu Lifnei, the Bnei Gad, Bnei Reuven Lifnei Hashem. Not only for the purpose of we want land and we don't have a choice. We have a Tanai, Bnei Gad, Bnei Reuven. They have a Tanai, Bnei Gad, Bnei Reuven. Lifnei Hashem. Lifnei Am Hashem. Yeah, that's the Leina or Lifnei Am. Yeah, according to Rachaim, it fits very good. Yeah. Okay. Let's see Posuk, the Gdule of Yehoshua. Gdulas Yehoshua. In Rashi, if we go, what we started to speak last week, so Rashi says, Klal Yisrael didn't cross the Yarden the same way everyone else, like the Kohanim crossed. Right? Because Klal Yisrael crossed when the Kohanim was standing inside the Yarden, and they are just crossing. The Kohanim go back to the Mizrach, and that's discussed in the Psukim later. They go back to the Mizrach, to the east, and then they fly over together with the Omer, right? And why we need this mess? Why do we need this nest? For what? The Kohen could go and thing, right? We know like Baruch doesn't. We know like Baruch Hu Nise le Magne. Baruch doesn't do a stam nest, and because already was done on nest that Asher Hoivish Hashem es Mehayaden, right? So why do we need to go back and then to fly over? Well, what's the thing? What's the purpose of it? So there is a Michtav Eliyahu. Arav Dessler, a Michtav Eliyahu, in Chelik Dalet, he brings Dr. Azai. We find in a Nisim, he says, two Gidrei Nisim. Two types of Nisim we find. What are the two types of Nisim? He says, if you look at the Anhoga of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to Klal Yisrael, first of all, he says there's Anhoga of Tchias HaTeva. What means Tchias HaTeva? He says, for example, Tchias HaTeva is Kriyas Yamsuf, Ibush Hayarden. Klal Yisrael learned from this, what they learned from this, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu can reject the Koichus HaGashmin for the Rotzen of Rebbeinu Shalom. This is the Koichus HaGashmin, that means the way the world is created, right? There's the water always together. The Yarden, the water goes down, especially in the end of the winter, is going down. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Doyeched the Teva, Tchias HaTeva. There's another Hanoga. Hanoga that even is what we call Lemalo Min HaTeva. Right? This is more of a thing, Lemalo Min HaTeva. And we don't have any limitations to the Gashmias. All the Gashmias, anything with the Teva, cancel it. I think it's misbattle. All the Gashmias misbattle, and you don't need a Tchias HaTeva B'chlal. Now, says Arav Dessler, the Oren and the Luchos, we talk about over here, the Oren and the Luchos, this is the Pchina of Lemala Min HaTeva. Right? The Gemara says, Chazal teaches, the Gemara in Yuma, Daf Mafalek, Mafadalek, Mokoim Ha'orim, many places, in Shas, Mokoim Ha'orim, Eino Min HaMidah. Look at the base structure, Kadoshim. We have 10 from the side, right? And we had the whole thing was only 20 ammo. How could you have 10 from one side of the Davan and 10 from the other side of the Davan? Where's the Oven itself? Oven Eino Min HaMidah. Eino Min HaMidah, the only, it doesn't have any tfisas mokoim in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Nothing. Eino Min HaMidah. Why? Exactly. Because above, it's Lemala Min HaTeva. It's above any limitations of space, of time, of anything. Space and time is all the things. What is creation? What is Teva? Is the Psalm says the beginning of Bereshit. That is Bereshit Bara Elokim, is creation of time and space. There's no time, there's no space, and that is the Oren Eino Min HaMidah. Same thing with but. You don't need to dry out the Yarden. When we speak about our nest, you don't need to dry out the Yarden in order to cross the Yarden if you're going Lemala Min HaTeva. If you're going Lemala Min HaTeva, you have to cross the Yarden to dry out the Yarden? No. You don't have to Doiched the Teva. From itself, the Oven is on one side, the people on the other side. So everywhere where the Oven has to be, it's going to be there. There's no time, there's no space, there's no, right? It's Lemala Min HaTeva, the Oven. The Oven is Lemala Min HaTeva. You don't have to dry out the Yarden and not to cross the Yarden. It's above all of this. Doesn't need Tchias HaTeva. It's in one place, it has to be in a different place. Okay, so it's in a different place. It's not trying with Klal there. The Yarden is disturbing, it's not disturbing. And that's Oren Noise is Noiso. That means that the Oren gives the Ashpoe. The Ashpoe of the Kedusha, also on the people that carry the Oren, the Madrege of Tzeikus, it's also on them as Chal, and that will come to the Oren, it's different. It's not the Tchias HaTeva. The Oren just crosses from one side, the bank, over to the other side of the Yarden without any. So I saw the Sefer, he says that he them, the Pshat in the Pasuk, Vayoshav Hayom in Kriyas Yamsuf, Vayoshav Hayom Lifnei Boiker Le'isonai. Says Rashi, Letokfoi Horishon, right? Letokfoi Horishon. Says in the Medrash, what's in the Medrash? Le'isonai, Le'tnoi. Tnai Hitno HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It was a Tnai HaKadosh Baruch Hu done with Yam, Sheshes Bebereshit, Sheyenikra Lifnei Bnei Yisrael. When it will come the time of Yetzias Mitzrayim, he will come and he will dry out and let the Klal Yisrael go. I mean, the Achaim over these is famous for asking questions. And when we find the Kriyas, right, the Kriyas Hayam, it doesn't say the Tanai. If there was a Tanai, and when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the sea, he done with them at night. When Klal Yisrael are going out of Mitzrayim, I want you to let them go through. When should they have said this tonight? When Klal Yisrael are crossing through the Yamsuf, V'nikra Hayam Lishnayim, L'Tnai, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu done with Klal Yisrael, with the Yam, Sheshes Bebereshis. When it says the T'nai, Vayoshav Hayam Le'istonai. After the whole Maisa. Why after the whole Maisa? Then the T'nai. The T'nai should be in the beginning. Well, from the Rachai Freitas, yeah? The Rachai Freitas. So why is Mevum is only over here in the Pasuk? It's talking about when it's going back to normal. Oh, then we find the T'nai. What's up, Shat? Just what? B'derech klal, usually when a person stops the water, right? There's the water coming down and he stops the water for a while. But then when he's going to remove the stopper or remove the haskara samoinea, this thing what blocked the water, when he's going to remove it, what's going to happen? It's going to be much stronger, the water, right? It's going to go much stronger. Over here, what the prophet says, Vayoshav hayam le'isonoi, says Rashi, letok for Yehoshua. That means he didn't notice, and also we can see it in our psukim, also the psukim on the Medayik, that when they cross the Yarden, we can see it in the next two psukim, you can see. When they cross the Yarden, the same, let's talk about the Yamsuf. Vayoshav hayam le'isonoi, letok for Yehoshua. So it should have been suddenly the water goes to, and then when they fall down, they should very strongly, right? Because you're removing the stopper, you're removing. I said, no, the same, you don't see any hecker, you don't see any difference between before and that. And over here, you see the Tanai Sheitno when Bishas Brias Oilom Bishas Sheshes and Bereshis. That's the nest of Kriyas Yamsuf. Because in the nest, in the nest of Kriyas Yamsuf, we say there was both of them. The Kriyas Yamsuf, the water, the Amayim Choymov, the Yeminom, Lismoilom, both of them, that they stopped, that was Kriyas Ateva. But because of Tanai, that was what? That was Keilu, it was not created. That is the Lemalo Miderech HaTeva. That it goes back the same thing. And right, as we say in the last over there, we spoke about in the end of the Shvi last week about Hayom Rov Hayonos, Hayarden Iso Leochel. Right, so in the Yarden, what it says, but the Magid over there, the Pasuk and the Magid and Tehillim, when he asks the question, when we spoke about Hayom Rov Hayonos, we spoke about which Yam? Hayarden Iso Leochel is talking about the Yarden. And the Yarden, the nest was only mitzat was that it was on one side. It was on one side. Why? Because Yodi milemalo lemato, right? It's coming down from the north. It's coming down, and then stopped. Mashaik in the Yam, the nest was from both sides, and that's why it says over there vayonos. Vayonos. Yarden was only isoiv leofer. It was only from one side, right? So that's the difference. So this is interesting. I was asked this question many years ago, 4 years ago, that we don't find in Tanakh the lashon of Kriyas Yamsuf. Legoizo Yamsuf, Ligzori, Kriyas Yamsuf, Kriyas Yamsuf we find only in Chazal. We don't find in the Torah, in Tanakh, we don't find Kriyas Yamsuf. Yeah, I'm right, Rabbi Cohen? Yeah. So what is the difference? Why is it? So I heard from my father, I asked my father, I don't remember exactly the teretz, but it's something on these lines. According to, there is a difference in Kriya and Bekir. What's the difference in Kriya and Bekir? There is the Shulchan Aruch Balatanya writes that was it in Meleches Goys and Shabbos. In Shabbos, it says what's the difference in Kriya and Shabbos and Bekir? Kriya is two things that were together, sewed together, and now you tang them. So two, let's say you have two shmatas, you sew them together, and now you tang them. That's a kriya. The kriya is you have one solid thing, and you crack it into two. Or you have one, let's say, handkerchief, and you tang into two. That's the bikia. That's not so much bikia, but it's like when we have one thing, and you actually are splitting it into two, that is bikia. When you have something that was two different things, and you attach them together, and now you're splitting it into two, that's kriya. In the Torah, it's all talking about before Kriyas Yamsuf. Before Kriyas Yamsuf, it's one, right? So according to this Balatanya, according to what Balatanya says, now let's think about it. In the Torah, we know all about there was Kriyas Yamsuf. Bekir was one thing, was split into two. But after that, when Chazal teaches us, Chazal told us later on, we didn't know before that the Tnai. After that, that's a Tnai. Tnai Isno, with the Yam, should be split for Klal Yisrael. So really, from the beginning, there was two different parts where they put together, and then they tore it. Then they split. When you have two different parts, what you split, how it's called? Kriya. But this was we found only later on, Chazal Daf. That means we found out only later. So when Moshe Rabbeinu, Baruch tells them, in the Teis Yod Chaleim, because now it's one piece. Later on, when Tnai Hitno, Litno Yorisha, and this, as we see, also the Tnai was only Dafka after that. There's all the Reformation, the Chaim, but all the Reformation explain why only later on we go to the Tnai. But we find we don't bring the Tnai, only later, for many, many, many different reasons. So, Now it's past the Lashon of Kriyas Yamsuf. So we call it Kriyas Yamsuf, only later on we call it Kriyas Yamsuf. Again, there's more Raya state than this, he means, but that's what I think. So, something on these lines I heard from my father. If that was the question. Okay. Let's see the psukim later on. So we're speaking now about the Kohanim. Again, as we said, Ein Mugdam Urucha. The psukim is Shaloi Kesidron. And we're going to speak about the going off from the Yarden. Pasuk Tezvav. Vayomer Hashem El Yehoshua Leimor. And that what he told him, labor, and that what he tells him, as we spoke a few times already, what is the labor? Sometimes the Machlekes are trying to Saveis HaKoyanim Noise Aroi Nohedus. Command the Koyanim, the Noise Aroi Nohedus, that's inside the Luchot, there is the Eidus, right? The Eidus is called the Eidus from the bris between HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Klal Yisrael. And Ve'yalu, that they should go up, right? Ve'yalu, that they should go up, min hayarden, from the Yarden to the Yabosha. Now, if you notice, Ve'yalu, not Ve'yavu. Why does it Ve'yavu? It should say Ve'yavu, not Ve'yavu. So that's what he tells us. Why it's over here the different Lashon. The Lashon is a little bit different between before him, right? Saves HaKoyanim no yisei aroin ha'edus, Ve'yalu min hayarden. Should say Ve'yavu es hayarden. As Rashi calls the Save, first of all, okay, Save Lashon is what you should say, okay, but says Rashi, Ve'yavu eikim ksav, Elo Ve'yalu, L'manu shal hasof asher yoindin, etzlo olu. יש על דבר שיועין דין עץ שפת היד שמערב, שהרי נאמר למה לא נטבלו רגלי הכהנים מקצה המים, ושום נאמר, היעמדו הכהנים וכל ישראל עוברים. Because they went up in the Yarden, and the side that they went up. And must be that what? They went up to the east and not to the west, because as Rashi, it says already before, and we learned, the רגלי הכהנים לא יסתערוי נטבלו בקצה המים. Which בקצה המים? Where is it, בקצה המים? So Rashi proves that it must be that when they're going up to the east. Because we learned at the beginning when Klal Yisrael want to cross the Yarden, how it works. The Kohanim are just, right, they're just putting the toes into the water. Where? They came from the east. They're coming from the east. They just put in the toes into the water and stops. The water is stopping the flow. So they really didn't go deeply into the water or towards the west. They were in the east, right in the beginning of the Yarden, the east. So now when they go up to where to? They go back to the east. And then they go, well, this is actually the Shitosoi, when they go over with the Kohanim. The Malbim learns, Vayalu, that they should go up to the Sfas HaYarden, Hama'arovi, not like Rashi, as mentioned as I see, the Radak learns not like Rashi, even in the Gemara in the Stoita is much more like Rashi, right? Rashi brings down the Gemara in Stoita. And it says Vayalu, but not Vayavu, and he says, why? Because it was a tzivui. Was it tzivui? Because it was a tzivui before and by Yarden Ta'amoidu. Right, they have to stand in the Yarden. They need a special tzivui to go out. Because they can't go out without rishus. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, everything was through HaKadosh Baruch Hu, was the Nevius, what Yehoshua ben Nun is telling them. He told them, by Yarden Ta'amoidu, for when? So what are they going to tell them? They're going to tell them. Now he has to tell them differently. Yarden Ta'amoidu. Yeah. Pasuk Yud Zayin. Vayetzav Yehoshua es HaKohanim leimoy. What he told them, Alum mina Yarden, according to Vayetzav, again, he repeats again the tzivui to the Kohanim, Alum mina Yarden. The Malbim is very good. Why now he tells them again, but Alum mina Yarden is not stam as a thing. Yeah. Pasuk says, it's also Yudches. Vayi ke'alois or be'alois, and there's no really a difference between the two, as the Kli is ke'alois, and it's one thing is the Radak says Vayinyan Echot. Right, this was. Some say that this was mamish in the same second. It is, we should, like he's finding, Rashi says, right, in the Pashas Boy, Kachatzois or Bachatzois. And the Gemara, the Bochas of Dalet says, right, there's between the lotion of Bachatzois and the usual lotion of Kachatzois. It shouldn't be a difference. So, Ka'alois, or Vai Ba'Ka'alois, or Vai Be'alois. Right, it was in the same moment as, right, we show this. It's a nifal. No, ke'alois. When it was ne'etak, the Lashovish of Nun Tov Kuf, yeah. When it was ne'etak, the feet of the feet were till now was stuck to the Yarden in that moment. Yeah, nitku. We're talking about Nun Tov Kuf, yeah, netek. So Kshenetku, Alois, it's a nifal, this word. Okay, this is a medagdik. Huh? Yeah, you also like it. Okay, so today I didn't speak about it. I know I quite like it, so I just mentioned. Okay, so Vaika Alois, that means straight away, or when they wanted to go up, Kabbalah from the water, and they landed in the Abosha. וישובו מהירדן ומקוימם, וילכו כתמו אל שמשון. That means, it's more as we said before. It was like, took for a rishon. Not suddenly, now because it wasn't that made effort, and the Gemara says, right, there was many, many, many miles of water. So, what should it be when you just remove the stopper? I think it was splashing down, no? Came down nicely. I'll call Gedoisov, and they went all over on the Gdoisov and not over the Gdoisov. That's the pshat of the apostle, yeah? Gdoisov and the Radak, the Alshich, the Malbim, don't explain it. But also after that, it went Bedech HaTeva, I'll call Gdoisov and not more than the Gdoisov. So, the Oroin is in, the Kohanim was standing from one side of the Yarden, the rest of Klal Yisrael was standing from the other side of the Yarden, and the Yarden is in the middle, and the Oroin is Loiseh and Loisov to carry them, is we can say like the Shitas Rashi. Yeah. Pasuk Yutes. And the Pasuk we learned what's going to be with the rest of the Kohanim, huh? I just didn't think about it. I just think about it now. Maybe someone could help me. So the Gemara, as we mentioned from Rashi many times, right? And we look at Rashi over here. Nitku kapo is ragla kohanim min hamayim el hachorova she'etzlom. Yeah, you see Rashi? So says Rashi, min hachorova el hachorova she'etzlom Yehoshua amayim kohanim. So Oron mitzad zeh. The Oron is from one side of the Yarden. וישראל מצד זה, נוסו אורינס, נויסו ואובר. There was an enash uzo, כשאוחס באורין, נויסו, נוסו, עצמו, אלוי כל שכן. He didn't learn that way he got punished. So who was on one side of the Yarden? The Kohanim with the Noisei Orin. And the other side, the Kol Yisrael. So who carried the Kohanim? The Kohanim was the Orin is Noisei, but the Kohanim, they got stuck in the Eivar Yarden. The Kohanim also were in Eivar Yarden. Only the Kohanim was Noisei Orin, B'Yis Hashem. Only the Kohanim. No, I'm asking, just, you didn't understand it. Which Kohanim was standing over there? The Gemara Soita says only the Kohanim, no? You remember the last one, the Gemara Soita? No, you said, yeah, sure. I think the Gemara says that last one the Gemara is the Noisa. ויבא לא יסקרן לא יסעור ביששם את הירדן ניתקו קפלי רגלי הכהנים אל החורבה וישובו מהירדן אל כל גדויסו. נמצא אורוין ונויסוב וכהנים מצד אחד וישראל מצד אחד. נוסטו אורוין אסנויסוב ועובר שנאמר ויהי כאשר תם כל האום לעבור ויעבר ארוין השם והכהנים לפני האום. על דור זה אין אחוזו שנאמר ויבואו עד כהן קידוין ואיש לחוזו סדר לאפס אורוין. You find over there that he died. And you're going, so it doesn't matter. Who was on the other side? One side is Oroin Noisov Ve'Kohanim Mitzad Echad Ve'Yisrael Mitzad Echad. I don't know. But I see now, I didn't see before. No, I was just thinking about it now. But now I see over here, there's a goes with Sionim. He means Ve'Noisov HaKoyanim, not Ve'Koyanim. A different gift. So it's a little answers our question. Which noise of the noise that they were the Kohanim, the noise that they were the Kohanim. There, the other Kohanim went with the whole of Klal Yisrael. There's no reason why that. A Kohanim noise Oren. The question was from the Gemara. The Gemara says noise of the Kohanim. They are Kohanim if no. So you could say that this Kohanim you can explain both ways. But in the Gemara, part of the Gemara it says the Kohanim. Oren, noise of the Kohanim. Who carried the Kohanim? El Chorova. What's the difference between Chorova and Yabosha? We find Chorova, we find Yabosha. What's the difference between Chorova and Yabosha? The Malbim thinks that the mashros of Chorova means, so like we said before, because over there it says, Yovshu, right? Yovshu Me'ayarden. That means before, and somewhere the Chorova means when there's water was there before, and now it dried out, and it's dried out immensely. Yeah, Yabosha means it was never worth of it. Yeah. The difference between Chorova and Yabosha. Yeah, like the same thing in the Shalach. Yeah. Pasuk Yutes. Let's see the pasuk. ואום עולו מן הירדן, ועושו לחודש הראשון, ויחנו בגלגול, בקצה מזרח יריחו. What is the Om Olu Min Hayarden also LaChodesh? Om Olu Min Hayarden also LaChodesh Rishon. That's Yud Nissan. Vayachanu. They camped in a place that's called Gilgal. B'Ktzei Mizrach Yericho. This place is, where is it? Is in the east side of Yericho. Over there they camped. Klal Yisrael b'Mishkan. Over there they were making a Korban Pesach after 4 days. And as we will see later on in Capital A, they'll mark here all the Korbanos. What is the Om Olu Min Hayarden Osol HaChodesh? So Chazal learned from over here the Osol HaChodesh many limudim. This Osol HaChodesh, as we know, the Yalkut. Let's start with the Yalkut Shimoni. The Yalkut Shimoni says Tazay. Omar Am Levi, Lekichas HaPesach Omdo Lohem Bayarden. D'chsiv, the schus of Mishchu Chu Lochem Tzoyin. When was it? On what date? Yud Nisan. Ve'osol HaChodesh Hazeh Ve'iku Lochem. להם, וכסיב ואומר לו מן הירדן ועושה לחודש, אכילס הפסח עומדו עשו when? בימי הומון, וכסיב בלילה ההוא נודדו שנס המלך. This day of Yud Nisan is a very great day. This is not Stam day. Yud Nisan is the day נודדו שנס המלך. This day, that's what the Melech Yalkut Shimoni says, and this day was the Omdo Lohem Bayarden, and that why the Achilas HaPesach was on that day, not Achilas HaPesach, the preparing for the Pesach was that day. Many different nisim happened on that day. Yud Nisan. If we look at this day, it's a very special day. Yud Nisan. Let's look at the Chanukah Samishpan. The beginning of Chodesh Nisan was Chanukah Samishpan, right? Bayoyim HaAsiri, Nos Livnei Don. Right? Who was back here? Who was the Korban in the Yom HaAsiri? Nos Livnei Don. Right? As we mentioned before, Shevet Don. What is Shevet Don? Shevet Don is Din. Right? Don is Din. And that's what the Yarden was going down from where? The Gemara Poires Daf Nun Hey Amidale, what the Gemara says? Midon. Yarden Sheyoyred Midon. That's the Gemara. The Yarden is called Yoyred Midon. Not in the Shevet. Don is marked when? The Yom HaAsiri. And that is the proposal. There's many Sforim, it says in the Sifrei HaSod and the Sifrei HaKabbalah, it says that this is what's called Misifrei Dedina. That's why Shevet Don is Maas and the Kol HaMachanes. To be mamtik this thing, the koyanim. Koyan is always mitzad ha said, right? And we learn over here that the big mess. The etzem hayom hazeh, which day? Yud Nisan. This day belongs to who? To Shevet Don. Really, Shevet Don is the day of dinim. We might come to think like raglei hakoyanim, nitku raglei hakoyanim, and Olum Min Hayarden, the Ma'ale the Yarden, they were Ma'ale the Yarden, to bring off the Yarden, fakelt. Let's see a little bit more in the din of it. There's a Gemara in Yevomis. The Gemara in Yevomis that Aleph says, Omar Rabbi Yehonon, I'm going to read it from inside. Omar Rabbi Yehonon Mishum Rabbi Benoel. Orel Mekabel Hazoy. Orel, someone who was not Imalet, didn't circumcise. Even though they were Areli, they got the Hazor. Where do we find? This is our apostle. They didn't do a bris milah straight away because they just traveled. They're still weak. It's dangerous to do a bris milah when they're still weak. When they had the Hazor, must be when they're still not circumcised. The deal with Yom Pesach Klal says they will not no, it can't be that they didn't do a Pesach Klal. Why? The Siv, Yashis a Pesach. We see over here that what? That they done the Azor. When they done the Azor, when they were Arelim. Toisus brings the Raya from there. Toisus brings the Raya from there. The proof from this that Mol Veloi Pora. Mol, someone done the Brit Milah. Veloi Pora didn't do prayer. He's the oval, and you cannot eat the Korban Pesach. And you cannot eat Kol Kot, but the Gemara over there is talking about the people that were born in the Midbar. The people in the Midbar were not Mal Bichlal. Not talking about they were Mal in the Obriya. They were not Mal Bichlal, right? What? Yeah. So it was, how could the bring the Gemara riot? The Gemara brings a riot from the people that were born in the Midbar. They were not born in the Midbar. The one who born in the Midbar, they were not Mal Bichlal. The one that were born in the midbar, not for Yoitzim Mitzrayim. Rashi actually brings, that's not talking about the one that were born in the midbar. Rashi says it's talking about the one that were born in Mitzrayim, Yoitzim Mitzrayim. And the Yoitzim Mitzrayim, they were Molu V'lo Yiporu. I mean, Rashi understands, but the ones that were born, no, under 20. They were born in Mitzrayim. They were Mal and Molu V'lo Yiporu. They didn't have the Priya. Says Mashav Rashi that even though the Priya is Me'akev in Mitzvah Smileh, but it's not called the Oral. The Oral is Nishton Oral. And Rashi in Mol V'lo Yiporu is allowed to eat the Pesach with Rashi. Right? Mol V'lo Yiporu is not called the Oral. Not called the Oral. That's what we learned from it. Let's see the Pasuk weiter. Pasuk Chof. We're going to finish this Perek. Ve'shtei Mesrei Avonim Mo'ele. These 12 people who were chosen from the 12 Shmotim, they Oile Asher Lokhu. Nifkel Twibu B'nayadem Heigim Yehoshua Bagilgol. And now, again, we're going to mention what we can see later on. After they walked to Harevol and they built the Mizbeach, right? We saw in the Rashi brings that they come and they demolish the Mizbeach, and then they come and they rebuild it in the Gilgol. That's the Molech, what we learned before, and they put one on top of the other one. It should be like a tower, It should be like the banil beans. And they did it like a matzeva. And that's what he told them. After a while, right? Mochel, as we learned, Mochel not always means Mochel. Tomorrow means Achazman. It's a voice of Leimoy. What is these stones exactly? So you're going to teach them, right? The Doyos will tell Lochem. And it says, not Eschem, Lochem, right? There's also a difference between Eschem and Lochem. The Avodah is Lochem, the Ben Chochem and Rosh. Okay? We're going into them now. Voidatim is Menechem Leimoy. You should answer them. Bayabosho. What is Bayabosho? And a dry place. Oval Yisrael Esayad and Azeh. And that was how it happened. Asher Oilish, who dried out Hashem Elokeichem Esmei Hayad B'Penechem because of you. That means the Yoitzim Mitzrayim, the one that were born in the Midbar. And Overchem, Kasher also Hashem Elokeichem Leyamsu. Asher Oilish, dried out the Panenu to us, and Ovreinu to the cross the Yoitzim Mitzrayim. Leman Das, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu done it. Leman Das. Kol Ameoret es Yad Hashem ki Chazoko hi. Leman Yoreisem Hashem Elokeichem Kol Hayomim. Because you'll know. Then you will have the ire of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? And the reish of Yoreisem is, the Radak says, is with the comets. What means with the comets, right? That's the makor of the poyal. The poyal, that's Yero. That's the Osid, right? It's talking about the Osid, but Lashon Ovar. Like we have many places that's the Lashon Osid, the Lashon Ovar. So in this last pasuk, it's very interesting, right? As we see, Asher Ishalu, B'neichem, Mocho, Voidatim is B'neichem. So, Voidoas Abonim, right? It depends on if you ask. You don't have to tell them. Only if they ask, then you have to tell them. Now, I saw a very interesting quote, just very nice, the Malbim. Let's finish with the Malbim. We'll finish with this Malbim. The Malbim says that Leman Das, the end of the pasuk, Leman Das, Kol Ameoretz, Es Yad Hashem, Ki Chazoko Hi. Said the Malbim, the Ameoretz, they're going to have Iras Oinish. What's Iras Oinish? Yad Hashem Ki Chazoko Hi. What's Yad Hashem Ki Chazoko Hi? Iras Oinish, right? Chazoko Hi, the Rebbe Yisrael Gvure, the Rebbe Yisrael Ki Chazoko Hi. Aber Leman Yoreisem Es Elokeichem Kol Hayom. For the Ameoretz will be Ki Chazoko Hi, because they have Iras Oinish. But for Klal Yisrael, Am Yisrael, not the Ameoretz, they will have Iras Oroimemus. They have Ira from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Mitzad HaKadosh Baruch Hu itself. And that's what it says, Leman Yoreisem Es Hashem Elokeichem. Not because Ki Chazoko Hi, he is scared, Iras Oroimemus, for the punishment, that's the reason they are scared. No. They can have Iras Oroimemus because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, B'Shomayim Mimal, V'alo Pitoch Has. And Leman Yoreisem Es Hashem Elokeichem. And that's what it says, right? Iras Hashem Toiro, Oimedes Lord. That is the Iras Oroimemus, and Iras Hashem Toiro. HaToiro Dikeire is Oimedes Lord. Over here, Leman Yoreisem Hashem Elokeichem Kol Hayomim. That's Oimedes Lord. Kol Hayomim, that's only when it's Iras Oroim. Right, Hashem, next week we'll start Kapitel 8. Shkoyach.